Hello and welcome to Amanda's Trying, where sometimes all we can do is try and get through the day, and that's okay. I'm Amanda, and today I am going to tell you all about my attempt at trying to go on vacation. I'm trying really hard, I promise, but all that I could do today was cuddle my dog and cry. Before we get into that, for those of you who care, I don't really have a lot of updates with my exercise treatment because, shocking, we hit a stall. I'm a little bit discouraged and it feels like all we ever do is hit stalls, so I haven't really had anything to make a video on with that. And my TMJ, if you haven't seen my reel on Instagram or my YouTube short, my TMJ treatment is also at a standstill. I've been in these trays for my Invisalign for like over a month because my teeth just aren't moving, and on Wednesday I get to drive an hour to get braces put on. They said it would just be on the back 4 teeth, so I mean it could be worse, but I might need Invisalign on the rest of my teeth, which I didn't know you could even combine the two, so that's like a fun little experience that I get to have. But other than that, the only update that I have for you is that I tried to go on vacation. And again, if you don't follow me on Instagram, then you might not know. But spoiler alert, it did not go well. Let's just start off with what was supposed to happen. The idea was that we were going to go to Outer Banks for a family vacation. We were going to meet another family, my mom's twin. They were going to meet us there. And so we were flying out of Pearson in Toronto, which I know maybe was our first mistake. But it was going to be a quick flight, just like a little bit over an hour to Philly, and then a layover for an hour in Philly, and then we would fly to Norfolk and drive to our Verbo. So that was the plan. And just like for context, it was going to be the first time that I flew since my concussion. So I was quite anxious just about the travel as a whole. Airports are stressful for any person, and so I just was scared that it was going to cause symptoms. A lot of stuff is out of your control with wait times, with noise, with people screaming at you about what to put on the table and electronics and take off items of clothing, you know. Nobody enjoys being at the airport. And so I was already nervous about that kind of thing, but I thought, you know what, like, I've made a lot of progress, and this is the year where I feel even if I have symptoms, I'll be able to just survive them and get through, and it'll just be a really good way of marking where I'm at in my recovery. Maybe it'll go terribly and I'll be like, okay, you know, no more travel until like next year, when I've given myself more time to heal and progress. But maybe it'll go well, and then, you know, I'll be able to visit people more and see family and friends that don't live in my immediate vicinity. So that was the plan, and I just want to like make it like emphasize how much I prepared for this trip. My counseling session, the last one before I went on this trip, the entire session was us just walking through what the experience at the airport would be like, where I would be able to sit and take breaks and work on my breathing and just like calm my body, coping skills, practical things that I should bring like headphones, heat pack, etc., etc. I also like talked to my mom about the specific ways that I would be needing her to support me. She is very much just like head down, go, get through the airport and get to our gate and then rest. And I was like, just like, I understand that, and before my concussion I would have been able to do that, but you know, now with my post-concussion syndrome, like, I'm going to need breaks. I'm going to need you to be checking in with me. You're gonna have to support me more than you would have before, where I could have held my own. So, you know, I had conversations with her about what to be aware of with me, and she was 100% on board and ready to do that. Honestly, like, I felt like I prepared really well for it. I felt like I had used the supports and the resources around me really well. I took my PRN anxiety medication right before we started driving to the airport. And I was like, here we go, let's do this. Drive goes well. We get there in good time, we park our car. We have to rush to get the shuttle because it came literally as we were stepping out of the car. And my mom was like, go, go, go. So maybe at that point, she was a little bit too excited to check in. But it was okay, it was early on, and so I was still feeling okay. And so we get the shuttle, we get to the airport. I'm feeling quite overwhelmed, partially because, yes, I felt like, okay, I haven't had a moment to catch my breath, and in Pearson, when you get into the airport, there's not really any place for you to sit until after you go through security. And so we just had to like keep moving, and I was like, is there going to be any space for me to sit? Like, when do I have the option to rest? Luckily, there was basically no line. So we got through security pretty quickly, and then once we got through security, there was like a tiny row of chairs that I was like, I need to take a break, I need to sit, because we really had no idea how busy customs was going to be, and that can sometimes be a really long line, and there's nowhere to sit, you're just standing the whole time. Which kind of makes you question the accessibility of airports, but that's another conversation. But customs actually ended up also being really quick. There was like actually no line. So we got really lucky, things were going really smoothly. We found our gate, and it was actually like down an escalator, so the gate itself was very isolated from the rest of the airport. There wasn't even people walking through. Literally the only people at the gate were the people who were going to be going on the plane. And so it was really quiet, and we got there early because that's the way my mom rolls. So it was quiet, and I was able to rest. And even though, yes, I was tired and starting to feel pain, all of it was within the range of what I was expecting, and I still felt totally ready and prepared for whatever lay ahead of me. Boarding started, and that went totally fine. I was a little bit surprised. I didn't wear my headphones going into the plane, and literally, like, as I was sitting down, my head already felt like it was filled with cotton because of the droning of the engine. Like, I was surprised at how quickly it affected me, and I was like, okay, these are going in for the entire time. But luckily I have noise canceling headphones, and as soon as I turned them on, they helped immensely. So I was very grateful for that, because I don't know what I would do without them. We start moving, we're getting ready for liftoff. I was excited but also terrified, because the biggest thing that I was concerned about was how the pressure changes was going to affect my head, just because weather is like something that my head is incredibly sensitive to. storms that come in like totally mess me up and leave me dead on a couch. So I was a little bit nervous, but I was prepared for the worst. And then we like pull off to a random side on the tarmac, and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting, and the pilot finally announces,
I don't have a really accurate ETA yet, but I'm thinking probably my best estimate will be about a 40-minute delay due to the weather.
And I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm fine.
Totally fine! I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
You know, I'm just listening to my little audiobook, keeping myself distracted, doing breath work when I need it. I still was managing my emotions and my symptoms relatively well. It's like almost 6, and we're still in the exact same place. And the pilot makes an announcement.
So we are going to have to return to the gate to do that. We'll also need to get some more fuel. The current time they've given us is 7:01 p.m. local time. Well, it's about 1 hour and 15 minutes from now. 1 hour and 14 minutes, I guess, to be accurate. So we'll go back to the gate.
The anxiety was definitely getting to me at this point. You know, we're hours delayed and we have a connecting flight that we've already missed. It was already supposed to take off, and we know that the Norfolk airport is really small, and so we don't even know if there's going to be a flight available for us when we get to Philly. And so we're trying to figure all of that out, but I can't even think of that because I just have to like make sure that I'm surviving in the present moment. And so I'm like, Mom, you stress and figure that out on your own. I can't be an emotional support because I will have a panic attack if I start thinking about all of the possibilities and what we need to do. So I'm just gonna breathe and you can figure everything else out. I'm definitely exhausted and I'm definitely in a lot more pain, but I'm still telling myself, focus on what you can control, go with the flow, you can do this. We deplane, we get food. The gate is so busy now because it's isolated. There isn't space for people to spread out, so everybody's stuck in this tiny gate. We have 2 airplanes worth of people because we're back in a gate that we were supposed to have left like 2 hours ago, and then there's people who are waiting for their flight who are in the gate, so it's like double the amount of people that there's room for. And I definitely start getting pretty intense pain, and I'm just like off to a corner on the floor because there's no seats available. There's no place for me to plug in my heat pad, and I'm just telling myself, stay calm, we just get through this, like focus on the goal in front of you, like we got this. 6:45, we're allowed to get back on the plane. We're gonna take off any minute, they say. So I'm like, okay, all right, we're moving again, let's go. 8:50, we haven't moved. They keep on making announcements that keep on saying any minute the weather is gonna clear up, any minute we're gonna be allowed to take off. And at this point, we've given up on our connecting flight. My mom was like, let's just get to Philly, get a hotel, fly out in the morning. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I will do it because I want to do this vacation. I want to have this experience. Yes, I'm feeling like crap. I might not be able to enjoy anything all week. I might be stuck in the house, but I will be stuck by the beach in the house, you know? So I'm gonna do this. I don't care, I'm gonna do this. And it was like my stubbornness that was getting me through at this point, because my anxiety, I had lost control of at that point. I had been wrestling with it literally since 1 that day, and it was now 9 o'clock. I was having a panic attack. I took my PRN again, even though I technically was not supposed to. I didn't care. I was just trying to make sure that I didn't lose my mind in front of a plane full of people who were already also losing their minds. And at 10 o'clock, the announcement.
My current understanding is the intention is to cancel this flight, unfortunately. We'll have to work through the customer service. I know a number of you have just come on board the aircraft from previously cancelled flights. That's the background information. We're going to deplane the aircraft shortly and get you reunited with your bags, and then we'll have to reaccommodate you on them.
The flight was canceled. It was canceled. Done. They tell us the flight is rescheduled for tomorrow morning. They give everybody a number to call to get on that flight. And my mom is saying, like, we don't need to do this, like, it's fine. And I was like, no, like, I have gone through all of this. I have sat on a plane all day today. I am in pain, yes, but this pain is going to bear fruit. It will not be futile. And so my mom makes the call while we're waiting for our baggage, because the plane was small and we were forced to check our bags, even though we intentionally only brought carry-ons. So we're at the baggage claim, and she finds out there is no flight going out of Pearson to Philadelphia until Wednesday, 3 days later. And so it's almost 10:30, we get our bags, and my mom tells me, you know, there's nothing we can do. We can't get out till Wednesday, and that's just to Philly. So let's just go home. There's no point to it anymore. And I'm so exhausted, and I'm so disappointed that I put myself through all of this, and I'm gonna be ending up with nothing. My uncle finds a flight out of Detroit the next morning. So that means we would basically drive home from Toronto, sleep for a few hours, wake up, have to drive the hours to Detroit, including the border, and then do this whole thing again. And I just have a breakdown because I know that I don't have that in me. I can't do all of that. And I so badly wish I could, because I know my mom wanted the vacation probably even more than me, and maybe she would have tried these other options if she didn't have a daughter with all these chronic ailments. And so it was discouraging that this attempt was all that I had in me. I had given everything that I could that day, and it ended up giving me and my mom nothing. And I didn't have enough in me to try again tomorrow. And that was really frustrating and really discouraging. The drive home was just a lot of self-pity. And both of us felt really bad towards the other person. And we also got a little bit angry just because, like, that was a lot to put us through. Just to end up canceling the flight and sending us back home. Like, that sucks. As we kind of process our emotions more, we decide, well, we're gonna be home now for the week, so let's find little ways to make the week special. And make the most of what we have, because, you know, our home is not a bad home to come home to. It's like a safe, comfortable place. So we have a lot that we can still be grateful for. So once we give ourselves space to be sad and angry, after that we start moving towards just being grateful and finding good things here, where we're stuck. Of course, I did have to recover from that insane day. And so Monday to Wednesday, I did nothing. Monday, I think like I slept 14 hours, got up, ate, tried to stay awake, slept for another 2 hours, had dinner, and then like went to bed in the evening. Like I had nothing in me. Tuesday was a little bit better, but still barely doing anything. Wednesday though, on my short little walk, I found this cute little step ladder shelf thing, and I was so excited, you guys, because like it's so cute. So that made me really happy. Thursday was the day that we picked up Darcy from my friend who was dog sitting him, and luckily my friend's family lives in a beach town, and so we made a day of it. We went to the beach for the day.
Red wine. Let's go to the beach, eat, let's go get a wave.
And then picked up Darcy and had dinner with my friend at the marina. So that was a really fun, cute day. And then Friday, my mom took me to get a pedicure. She was very, very excited. And as you can see from the picture, I definitely matched her energy. Yeah. So we found ways to make the week still a nice week, but it was definitely always kind of colored with disappointment and discouragement. Initially, I decided I was never gonna try to fly again. But now that I've had a few weeks to process it and distance myself from the experience, I do obviously want to try to travel again. I'm sad that I don't have that experience of actually flying and dealing with pressure changes, because that was the thing that I was most anxious about, and I still don't have any idea how that's going to affect me. But I do know that I am able to manage my emotions and my physical symptoms to get through an airport. And so that was really encouraging to me, and I was really proud about how long I lasted before I lost my mind. I mean, I made it to like 9 until I had a panic attack, you know? So that was a long time. So I did good, all things considered. And so there's definitely good takeaways from that experience, but it was still really awful. To finish off, as always, song recommendation. This video, my song that I'm recommending to you guys is Save Myself by Ed Sheeran. And I just kind of was reminded of this song, not as dramatic as maybe the song is, but you know, I had to kind of pick myself during this whole experience. I had to tell my mom, like, listen, I love you, but I cannot be emotionally supporting you in this moment. Like, I can only handle saving myself, like, emotionally here. And it feels really selfish sometimes, and there's guilt that's associated with it, especially when you're used to supporting other people and sacrificing yourself for other people, which I think so many of us do. And it's, you know, kind of a shift in my thinking that's had to happen throughout my entire recovery process. Just little moments where I end up having to pick myself, because I know that if I try and support this person, I'm not going to have anything left, and I'm going to end up destroyed physically. And they can go and find other supports and options. I'm not the only thing out there for them, but I want to be there for them. So, you know, it's a really emotionally complex feeling of deciding that you're going to prioritize yourself and your health, but it's a decision that needs to happen, and that is actually probably the best thing that you can do for other people. Save Myself by Ed Sheeran. Give it a listen. Use it as a reminder that sometimes you are the priority, and that's okay. It's not selfish. It's just being realistic and honestly taking care of yourself and the people around you. Anyways, that's it for me. See you guys next time.
So before I save someone else, I've got to save myself. I gave you all my energy and I took away your pain. 'Cause human beings are destined to radiate or drain.
Oh, it's going. Yeah. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Right, yeah, okay. I definitely, and, and, so anyways.